installed in all academic buildings. These new controls should improve the quality of the HVAC and also should cut costs. A much-needed new lighting system will be installed in the Harriet Hutchins Library. You won't have to take a flashlight with you after we get this lighting system installed. New zoology and physics labs will be constructed in the space vacated by the physical therapy department in the Wheeler Science Center. The front steps and the lobby of the Sales Administrative Center will be renovated. Also will be several smaller projects completed with the additional proceeds from the bonds. Deferred maintenance is an enemy of many university campuses. I've served on several HLC accreditation visits, and I've been surprised at how much deferred maintenance we identified during the accreditation visits. We've been very fortunate at SBU that we have not had a huge amount of deferred maintenance. It's not uncommon for a university to have $7 to $10 million of deferred maintenance identified. Our estimate of deferred maintenance at SBU has consistently been between $3 and $4 million. The proceeds from the proposed bond issue will significantly reduce our deferred maintenance. The ability to successfully raise funds is a determinant of the state of the university. In recent years, we've had much success in fundraising. Over the past 2 years, we have successfully raised funds for the renovation of Bailey Chapel and to purchase a new Steinway grand piano. Currently, we are involved in 2 formal campaigns, and we continue to raise funds for the endowment. The current major campaign is to raise funds to renovate the SBU track and to install turf on the football field. We have already secured 3 major gifts that are committed to this project. At this time, we have a total of $732,000 committed. The goal is to raise somewhere between $1.4 and $1.5 million for this project. Our goal is to complete the fundraising by next spring and renovate the track and install the turf next summer prior to the beginning of the 2013 fall semester. We also are in a campaign to raise funds for enacting the shared history, honoring United States Senator, former SBU President, and SBU graduate, Senator Roy Blunt. At this juncture, we have about 40% of the funds committed to support this academic chair. We're continuously attempting to raise funds for the endowment. As of May 31st, SBU's endowment totaled $20,652,703. The growth of the endowment depends on 3 basic factors. Gifts to the endowment, which we try to secure on an annual basis. It also depends on estate plans, maturity of the estate plans. And it depends on a positive stock market. We continue to seek gifts for the endowment and encourage estate plans directed. I recognize that ring. That's Judy Taylor's phone. Those of you who don't know Judy, sometimes she's my timekeeper if I go too long. She does, and she has been known at an alumni event. Once she stood up. Judy, I want you to know I'm on page 22 of 29 pages. By the way, who's that called? Charlotte. Our little grandson, yesterday was his first day of kindergarten. The first funny story is this: Drew is infatuated with snakes. He was really excited because the teacher had a pet snake, but he's really disappointed that the snake didn't get out of his cage yesterday. And then today, he decided he didn't want to go back to school. Well, he gives it honestly. His mother never wanted to go to school. And now she's Dr. Charlotte Osterman. So she finally did Finally got over it. Well, where was I?
Page 28, 28.
I would expect my kids to say that. Well, back on page 22. We do continue to seek gifts from the endowment to encourage state plans directed to the SBU endowment. We do that every year. It's so imperative that we grow our endowment. The more we grow our endowment, the less dependent on enrollment we become. And it's just imperative that we work very hard to grow our endowment. I always say that we can never have enough endowed academic scholarships. One of the goals in university relations this year is to hire a vice president. Even though we've had success in fundraising in recent years, including the 2010-2011 academic year, when we reported a record number of gifts, received $6,850,000. There is a definite need for a new vice president. This past year, the 2011-2012 academic year, we received gifts totaling $5,300,000. But during the year, it became evident that we do not have sufficient personnel to make needed donor calls. We currently are working with a very strong candidate who appears to be very interested in the position, and I challenge you to pray about that. We need a new vice president for university relations, and we're working right now with a very, very good candidate. After reviewing the factors I've mentioned, we can conclude that the state of the university, the state of Southwest Baptist University, is strong. However, we do face numerous challenges. We have the challenge of meeting enrollment objectives, balancing budgets, and dealing with external threats, including strong competition with other universities. Last year, during the State of the University address, I emphasized the uncertainties we face. This year, we still face many uncertainties. We face more government regulations and required reporting than at any other time during my long career in higher education. We also have to deal with a federal government that does not appear to understand the concept of a free church and a free state. Yes, we face challenges each and every day. I pray we will confront our challenges like Joshua did when he defeated the Anakim, the giants living south of the Promised Land. The giants who had terrified the spies more than 40 years earlier. Verse 21 of chapter 11 of Joshua tells us that Joshua came and cut off the Anakim, the giants from the hill country. Joshua utterly destroyed them and their cities. Verse 23 tells us that Joshua took the whole land according to all that the Lord had spoken to Moses. And Joshua gave it for an inheritance to Israel, according to their divisions by their tribes. Thus the land had rest from war. Like Joshua, we can meet our challenges and conquer our giants. I have no doubt that the Lord wants us to have all the land. The Lord wants us to be successful. There are 3 reasons why I have confidence that we will successfully meet the challenges of the 2012-2013 academic year and defeat the giants we encounter this year. We'll meet the challenge of this year because of the people in this room. We have an outstanding faculty, the very best. There's no university anywhere that has a more dedicated and more talented faculty than we have here at SBU. SBU is blessed with the best staff members who are committed to the mission of this university and who are dedicated to helping students succeed. No institution anywhere, no church, no university, no institution is any better than its people. And I can stand before you today and say SBU is a great university because we have great people. The State University is strong and healthy because of you. We will succeed and meet our challenges because of our commitment to have a positive Christian influence on people. I have two examples I want to share. First is a report from the Centrifuge leadership concerning their summer camp. And I quote, "We received great responses from churches about their time at SBU. The overall evaluation shows high marks in every area, from housing to food to auditorium to the friendliness of those on campus." End quote. They further reported, and this is what's really significant, that there were 18 salvations, 20 rededication, and 9 calls to vocational ministries during Centrifuge camps. I'm thankful that the SBU campus is a place where students and campus visitors, not just students, but campus visitors, are confronted with the gospel, and a place where they can be discipled, and a place where they can grow their Christian faith. The second example I want to share is an excerpt from a letter I recently received from the mother of 3 sons who have attended SBU. 2 of her sons have graduated and one is currently enrolled. The mother is a single parent, and she has made significant sacrifices to send her 3 sons to SBU. She says, and I quote, "Words cannot express how much I appreciate what you at SBU have done for my sons. SBU has made such a difference in my 3 boys' lives. SBU has filled a void with godly men and faculty members for them to look up to, who walk the walk and who truly care." And because we continue to make a difference in the lives of our students and the lives of others that encounter our campus, the State University will remain healthy and strong. Finally, the State University is healthy and strong because we are a mission-driven institution. We know who we are. We know our mission. And we know our calling. As a university, we are committed to fulfilling our mission. One of my favorite Old Testament stories is the story of Esther. It has many significant lessons, and I find it very interesting to read. Mordecai issues a challenge to Esther in verses 14 and 15 in the 4th chapter that should challenge all of us today. "For if you remain silent at this time, relief and deliverance for the Jews will arise from another place, but you and your father's family will perish. And who knows but that you have been called to the kingdom for such a time as this." This message is as pertinent today as it was in 450 BC. I have no doubt that we've been called for a time such as this. We've been called for a time such as this to deliver a quality education, a quality academic education, second to none, based on biblical principles to students, and then graduate students to go throughout the world to do kingdom work. We're called for a time such as this. Today, the State University is healthy and strong because we understand who we are. We understand our calling, and we are committed to our mission. Southwest Baptist University is a Christ-centered, caring, active community preparing students to be servant leaders in a global society. Because of our commitment to our mission and our commitment to our calling for a time such as this, the 2012-2013 academic year will be a great year. Thank you. And that was all 29 pages. Okay, Jason Bond, Director of Education and Techniques, will discuss the strategic plan.
Good morning. Those of you who were here remember last year I gave you a brief statement about what we were getting ready to do last fall when we started the strategic planning process. And so this year I'm back to tell you what we've done and what's next on the list. So first of all, let you know we sent out, right after the semester started last fall, we sent out a university-wide SWOT analysis requesting from each of you items that we can put on that list for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Some of you sent them individually, some sent them as departments, but we had over 1,500 items that were turned in. We then put together 2 teams. Jeff Waters and Kevin Schreiber led those teams independently, but one was for internal and one was for external, and they went through every single one of those items. They boiled those down and put them together to where we were in generalized topics, and we had a little over 104 of those. That was the quantitative or the qualitative portion of the research that we did. We then stuck that in a survey and sent it to the UPAC, the University Advisory Planning Council, and asked them to put numbers to it to make it quantitative for us. We had 2 areas. We asked for how much does this truly align with each area? Is it really a strength, weakness, opportunity, or threat? And how urgent is it? We can all imagine there are items that are very important, but they're not something that we have to do in year 1 or year whatever. We had to space things out. We can't do everything all at once. So we did that and came back with a large amount of data. We reconvened the 2 committees. We did additional research on topics that weren't consistently interpreted. We compiled all that data, and in July, turned that over to the executive cabinet. We are ready now for them to confirm what we have discovered or ask for additional data and to put together the final wording of our initiatives, objectives, and goals. So to give you an idea, that's where we're at, but that should be finished this fall. And our next step, as soon as we settle into this semester just a little bit, will be to start the process all over again at the unit and academic college level. So for those of you who are deans and administrative unit leaders, I'll be getting in touch with you, and we'll be getting started again with the same process, hopefully completing again in a year or less, to get us aligned, or to get the data we need to make sure that we are battling our weaknesses and capitalizing on our strengths, and so on and so forth. The last step will then be to turn that back around and do it at the department program level. So progress is being made. I know several of you have asked, where are we on that? Where are we going to get to see it? The goal is to have that meet by the end of the fall semester, and then we'll move right on.
Thank you, Jason, and thank all of you for your participation. I'm always amazed at how many responses did you say? 15? Just shy of 1,500. Thank you for that. It's so important that all of us are involved in planning. At one time, I've lost it, but at one time I had a poster that said, if you don't know where you're going, you may end up somewhere else. And so planning is very important. And as Jason said, we certainly need to identify our challenges and our weaknesses, and tackle those, and we need to accentuate our strengths. Okay, at this time, we'll have the Provost Bill Brown will come and introduce new academic personnel, and then followed by the other cabinet members. We have 2 cabinet members that are absent today. Bob Glasson, we should remember that in our prayer time. Bob's cousin passed away after a battle with cancer, and Bob is driving today with his mother to Texas. And then Ron Hoffman is flight will arrive later today, and he's not here. So, Bill, why don't we just go down the line, Rod, staff in the back, and David, why don't you go last, because then we'll have comments to share with us.
Would you like to stand up and stretch for just a moment? Personnel. I'll begin with the faculty and then into the academic staff. And if each of you would stand as we recognize each one of you. So first, Jane Berg, Assistant Professor of Music. Carly Callahan, Nursing and Health Professions Coordinator on the Salem campus. Rebecca Carlson, Assistant Professor of Library Services on the Springfield campus. Kevin Day, Instructor of Exercise Science and Athletic Training. Jennifer Fox, Instructor of Education. Becca Godzi-Coe, married as you'll notice, Instructor of Communication Arts. She's moving from adjunct to full-time this year. Dr. Bev McNeil, Associate Professor of Physical Therapy. She's teaching a capstone course right now, I believe. Her long history is Bev, of course, started full-time and then moved to half-time. And this year she's coming back to full-time again. Becky Scherneberg, Assistant Professor of Physical Therapy. Dr. Tao Wei, Associate Professor of Biology. Bethany Woods, Assistant Professor of Nursing on the Springfield campus. And Dr. Nathan Wright, Assistant Professor of Economics. Yes, Nathan is Angie's sister, brother. Then, the academic staff. All of these are those who who've joined our family since August 18th of last year. So Brandy Dugans, Patron Services Assistant of the Hutchins Library. Kayleen Gann, Admissions Assistant on the Springfield campus. Gloria Henry, Administrative Assistant to the Dean of University Libraries. Stephanie Jones, Admissions Coordinator for the Springfield campus. Chris Lehman, Clinical Education Secretary for the Physical Therapy Department. Suzette Stevens, Salem Campus Secretary. Lynn Stewart, part-time Patron Services Assistant for the College of Nursing Library in Springfield. And beginning on Monday, Carrie Ford, Administrative Assistant to the Dean of the College of Business and Computer Science. Are there any other academic faculty or staff that I've overlooked? All right, and then for Bob McGlasson, who's our Vice President for Information and Technology Services, we have Joyce Foley, Help Desk Technician in the Information Technology and Computer Services. All right.
I have 4 people I'd like to recognize in the student development area. Levi Fox. Levi will be the Resident Director of Laughlin Hall. Also Landon Lofton. Landon will be the Resident Director of Landon Hall. Whitney Pruitt. Whitney Pruitt will be serving full-time in the Center for Global Connections as our training coordinator. And also Brenda Long is moving from a part-time position to a full-time position. Brenda.
Two employees in the area of enrollment management that I'd like to introduce. The first is Rachel Custer, who's an admissions counselor, and Rachel is here and getting ready to start travel season. And the second one we literally just hired a few hours ago, Allie Merritt.
I apologize in advance. We have several people at practice or recovering medically or employed by the Bolivar school system. So first, I'll read the ones who are not here. Janet Wells, women's golf head coach. Jamal Powell, assistant coach football. Roosevelt Williams, assistant coach football. Ricky Kuhn, assistant coach football. Trish Henry, assistant coach volleyball. And Jamie Howbrook, head softball coach, assistant AD. And here are the ones who I believe are here. Kristen Woody, men's soccer head coach. Ashley, was he an approved absence? No, I actually did see that. I'm so very sorry. Sorry about that. Karen Henson, Director of Compliance, and Casey Martin, Director of Facilities and Game Management.
Please welcoming our following new administrative staff. First, Sandra Pertek, Physical Plant Housekeeping. Aaron Smith, Safety and Security Officer. Tara Parson, our new controller. And last but not least, Bailey Glore, my new HR coordinator. Let's give them all a round of applause. Now that my boss is so conveniently absent, I, myself, and Tara will be covering some miscellaneous issues. Some of this is going to be a recap of things we've spoken about last year, starting with the whistleblower policy. I won't be reading the entire policy, but just some highlights. Our whistleblower policy provides employees with a means to report behavior which might result in or reasonably be expected to create an appearance of impropriety, misconduct, dishonesty, or fraud. For the purpose of this policy, the definition of misconduct, dishonesty, and fraud includes, but is not limited to, and I'll just read a few examples here, acts which are inconsistent with the SBU policy, theft or misappropriation of SBU assets, misstatements of other irregularities in SBU records, incorrect financial reporting, misuse of SBU resources, illegal activities, immoral or unbiblical activities, forgery or alteration of documents, or any other form of fraud. Some examples of impropriety, again, I won't read the entire list, include theft of merchandise or supplies from the university, theft of money from the university, theft of time from the university, indicating that you received stuff for or on behalf of the university, but really did not check to see whether all the stuff, even if any of the stuff was there. Have your relationship with suppliers be such that allows them to get to work with the university, even though it was not the best deal for the university. Signing on paperwork using your boss's name without indicating that the true signer was you. Not really reporting on a time card your true time in and out and hours worked because either you have decided what was fair or your supervisor told you how to report your time. This includes student workers as well. Take vacation time that was not reported on a leave request form or time card. Every employee has a responsibility to ask questions, to seek guidance, report suspected violations, and express concerns regarding compliance with this policy. Additionally, no employee shall be adversely affected because they refuse to carry out a directive, which in fact constitutes corporate fraud or is a violation of state or federal law. An example of this is if my boss were to ask me, David, we're running short on our budget this year, I need you to go rob a bank. She found $100,000. Now I'm not going to do that because it's wrong. I might delegate that task to Bailey. I would suspect that she would refuse to do that. The whistleblower policy is located on the web portal. If you have any questions relating to that or any suspected violations, please feel free to contact my office. Next, approved drivers list. Only approved drivers who have not met all insurance guidelines may transport students, faculty, or staff. Additionally, only those employees on the university's approved drivers list may rent vehicles for university business. Failure to use university vehicles and approved drivers as required by this policy may result in personal liability for the driver as well as additional liability for the university. In order to become an approved driver, employees must take a defensive driving course and pass a motor vehicle report. Additional certification is required for those employees wishing to drive a 15-passenger van. Safety and Security offers a defensive driving course once a month. Just view the web portal for the announcements for the next location and date of that training. Our next issue relates to time cards and applies primarily to those non-exempt hourly employees. Compensatory time off is a term I hear a lot around here. And so I looked up the definition of compensatory time off the other day on the Department of Labor's website. And according to them, compensatory time off is paid time off the job that is earned and accrued by an employee instead of immediate cash payment for working overtime hours. The use of comp time instead of overtime is limited by the FLSA to a public agency that is a state, a political subdivision or an interstate governmental agency. The overtime pay requirement may not be waived by agreement between the employer and employee. The overtime pay requirement cannot be met through the use of compensatory time off, except under special circumstances, again relating to state and local government employees. I looked through our policy and procedures manual, and I noticed we had our own definition of compensatory time off, which appeared to be in contrast to the Department of Labor's definition. However, truly, our compensatory time off is nothing more than flex time or flexible scheduling. So, according to our policy and procedures manual, compensatory time off or flex time off for non-exempt workers may be scheduled by the employee's supervisor within the same work week the overtime is earned to avoid actual hours of work in excess of 40 hours in a week. The work week, remind you, for SBU runs from Saturday through Friday. Compensatory time off cannot be carried over or applied to prior or previous work weeks. So please keep that in mind when you're filling out your time cards and arranging your schedules. Finally, on the time cards, rounding rules. Please, when you're filling out your time card for our hourly employees, remember that 7 minutes or less will be rounded down to the previous quarter hour. 8 minutes or more will be rounded up to the next quarter hour. Staff performance reviews, just a reminder to our managers out there, those will be due December 31st, 2012. We will also be conducting sexual harassment training. Not sexually transmitted. Sexual harassment training, which may include sometime throughout the academic year. And finally, some good news on our health insurance renewal. We got our preliminary rates back from our insurers with Guidestone, and at this point it appears, Dr. Taylor, that our increase for the next plan year, which begins in January, will be 0%. Introduce Tara Parsons.
Good morning. Let's go over quickly our purchasing policies. As you know, our financial resources at SBU are limited. We don't have an endless supply of cash hanging around. So we have purchasing policies and procedures in place so that we can be good stewards of our resources and spend them wisely. And I'd also like to just point out quickly that these concepts are not unique to SBU, that all colleges and universities have similar policies to ours. So, first off, most of the purchases that you all make are going to start with a purchase requisition. And this is a form that you can get from accounting services, and our offices are in the administration building. And all purchases over $250 need to be started by using a purchase requisition that you should submit before you order goods or schedule services. We require this so that you can have another set of eyes, see the intent to purchase, and document their agreement that it is consistent with your department's needs and within our budget. That second set of eyes is normally going to be your department head. And we in accounting services will then issue a purchase order, and we will send a copy of it to you, and you can then dictate to us if you would like us to place the order for you, or if you will do it yourself with the vendor. Once you receive your goods, that copy of the PO that we sent to you, you should sign and date and send to Carrie Turpin so that she knows that she's okay to pay your invoice. And we like using these purchase orders for a couple of reasons. They let us, one, to know what money we are going to spend in advance. That helps us manage cash flow. And number two, that way we can be prepared to make our payments on time, because we like to have good relations with our vendors. Please also make sure as you fill out your purchase requisitions that you look at everything on the form. It's not there just for fun, so if you'll try to fill it out as best you can, we appreciate that. And that includes vendor numbers, and you can find vendor numbers as you're filling those out on the portal. It's under campus services and then under information and technology services. I know that's not really the most intuitive place, so I wanted to point that out for you. Another way you all can make purchases, or some of you can, is using an SBU MasterCard. And I know we don't all have these, but those of you who do, I'd like to remind you that the real intent for those MasterCards is to help you pay for travel expenses and for unexpected needs. I understand that sometimes you will want to make purchases that need to be done online, and you're going to have to use a credit card, and that's just fine. Use your SBU MasterCard, but please start that process using a purchase requisition so that we can have that documented approval that another set of eyes has seen what you're doing. And anytime you use your MasterCard, we need your receipts. So as you make those purchases, please get yourself a routine so that you always stick those receipts in a certain place in your purse or wallet, a certain place in your office, a drawer. Please have some kind of routine because it's not a surprise. We don't intend to surprise you every month by saying, please turn in your receipts. They're always going to be due. So when you get your statements, they're available every month on the 10th of the month. And I know a paper copy is going to be sent to you, but you can also get those online. I'm sure all of you deal with your personal credit cards by checking your statement online. So please try to set up your online account with the SBU MasterCard just the same way so that when you have questions or maybe you haven't seen that paper statement and you'd like to get going, that you can go ahead and print it yourself. If you're unsure of how to set this up, Allison Blamey can definitely get you instructions. I set up my account since I started and it's not difficult. So your form, you're gonna, once you get that statement, enter all those charges on an employee expense reimbursement form. You can also get that, just call Allison, call me, someone in accounting services. You'll enter those charges on that form, have your receipts to document them, and then you'll send it in to Allison on the second business day of the month following your statement release date. So, for example, you had a new statement that came out last Friday on August 10th, and the receipts and expense form for those will be due on September 5th, which is the second business day following. That means you have over 3 weeks to get all of that documentation together. A couple last reminders about using your MasterCard. Please don't give it to other people to spend for you. And even if it's an SBU expense, please do it yourself. And please also don't use them for personal reasons. They're just meant to be SBU expenses. And another reminder, whenever you travel and you use an SBU vehicle, if you would please make sure that you have an SBU gas credit card to use when you buy gas. That way we won't pay sales tax. And if you're not given one, when you check out your vehicle, they are available in the HR office. Before you leave for your trip, you can pick one up. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Jared. Thank you, David. By the way, we did not skip University Relations. We do not have any new personnel this year at University Relations. Hope to have a new vice president to introduce this time next year, but long before that. Okay, Robin Harris will now share some information concerning student life. Dr. Rob Harris.
Thank you. Earlier, Dr. Taylor mentioned the Involvement Integration Initiative retention research from those individuals such as Vincent Tinto, Alexander Aston, also John Gardner, has identified that there is a significant importance of students getting involved not just academically, not just socially, but the integration and a good balance of both. And so this year we will be implementing a program that's, at least from a student life perspective, we will be involving a lot of individuals with a lot of activities and a lot of things to do. The way we're going to communicate this is through the university calendar. So I would encourage you to go to the calendar and look at all the events. Now these events are not supposed to substitute any of the events that you have planned already. What I do ask, however, is that if you have an event planned for your academic area or for any area, that you get it recorded on the university calendar. That way the students can know these are the things I can get involved with. it also communicates to parents. So when a student calls their mom or dad for the 10th time that day and says there's nothing to do, the parent at least has access to that information to be able to say, well, why don't you get involved with one of these at least 15, 20 things that's happening tonight? So there is an importance there. So please do that. One of the facilities that has recently been renovated is the SBU Cat Snack. How many has been involved, or at least has gone and seen the new Cat Snack area? I would encourage you to go and see that. I look forward to having several future events there. The Caldy's coffee is soon to be served in the SBU Cat Snack area. I'd like to give some just recognition to those individuals who helped renovate that area. Maybe just raise your hand. Bob Lidwell, Doug Allen, Dwight Wooderson, Robbie Bryant, Alan Copeland, Tony Sawyer, Donnie Condren, Brenda Abbott, Larry Freilich, Sandra Kurtek, Bobby Glasson, Tim Cousins, and also Nathan Pinland. Did I miss anyone? You should see this facility, and especially when they're brewing coffee. Oh, man. With students, Thursday will be Welcome Week, the introduction of Welcome Week. We have scheduled today 427 students, incoming students, planning to participate in Welcome Week. There are a lot of exciting items planned for them. We have 90 of our current students who are going to be helping with that. That's all governed by 6 other students in organizing and planning the days that are going on. As students arrive tomorrow, I understand some of you are going to be helping them move in. You're helping with that acclimation. We appreciate that. After they move in, they've kind of been introduced to the university just for a snippet. Then on Friday, just to give you an idea of the organization that's going on Friday they'll have breakfast and then they'll have a breakout session. And several of you are participating in the breakout sessions. Just to share with you some of those sessions, let me list some of those breakout sessions for you. How technology is affecting your brain. Dr. Langford is going to be helping with that. Allison Marty. Thank you. If God is in control, how can we have free will? 3 views on the divine sovereignty, Zach Nance. Thank you. Social media and the greatest commandment, Angie Wright. Angie here. Thank you. Also, help. My professor is not God. Todd Zuccani. A bestowed trust, caring for creation. Hillary? What's Christian about Christian music? Duke Jones. Lessons learned from a mouse. A talk on Disney and faith. Debbie Gamble. When life flashes before your eyes. A talk on psychology and film. These are some of the individuals who are helping with Welcome Week. And part of that scheduling as well, as the day goes on, there's lots of training that goes on to the incoming students and just helping them acclimate. But an important part, I want to say thank you for all those who have committed their homes and you've committed to be hosts for our incoming students. Each year we do surveys to find out what did you like best? What are things that how we can improve? And consistently, our survey information reveals to us that when we went to our faculty or staff's homes, it was a breakaway from the institution and was like being in my own home again. And that acclimation or that bridge to connect with someone that works at the institution and is not a sales force and not an office, but a real living being, and this is their home, that has played a significant part in helping them acclimate. Many of you have participated in the past for that. This year we have 20 that have said, I'll help. Several of you have conflict, are not going to be able to help, that you have helped in the past. So thank you very much for that. Nathan, how many more homes could we use?
Oh, how many people are in here? I could really use between 5 and 10 if I can get them. I'm at my minimum right now.
If you are interested in hosting, what that helps with everyone else, how that helps, is that we get to spread out the numbers. So when you have over 400 students coming to your homes, that sounds like a large amount, but we usually are able to work that out and we help you financially a little bit. So if you would like to help Layton or myself or let Nathan know that you could assist with that, we'd be glad for your assistance. Let me share a little bit with you in regard to residence life. As of today, Housing Coordinator Chris Keller, has reported that we have 1,018 students assigned for housing this semester. This is great. This is 93% capacity of our dorm facility, all of our housing facilities. This compares to about 1,013 last year. Chris, thank you for all the hard work you did to place those, and I appreciate that. So there's been some question regarding health services. This year, SBU students are no longer charged the urgent care fee, which means that this service is still available, but not through the university. The university, however, has moved Brenda Long into a full-time position. She will continue to administer SBU's Killian Health Center. The health center will be open from 8 to 4. And the reason I share this with you is because the SBU nurse provides general health services for all undergraduate and graduate studies and for the SBU staff and their family members. And so some of you have questioned, can I take my kids there, or can I go have my ears checked or things like that? That's a benefit to you as an employee to the university. So take advantage of that. You know that you may have an ache or a pain. You're not necessarily wanting to go see the doctor. Well, maybe Brenda can assist you there. And if so, she has connections to other healthcare providers if you do need additional assistance. In regard to university ministries, this summer there were a total of 73 students and sponsors participating in 11 summer mission trips. Overall, this past academic year, we had 29 mission teams serving and building relationships. For this coming year, the Center for Global Connections office is planning 30 trips and would enjoy hearing from you if you are interested in participating in one of those trips. In the past, well, just in this past year, many of you have participated before, but in this past year, Mark Grabowski, Doug Out, Tiffany Harrell, Landon Lofton, Kelly Ream, Kim Jeffers, Levi Fox, Miranda Schreck, Erica McAllister, Diana Gallimore, Marlita McCampbell, Kirk Caddy, Everett Hornbussel, Rebecca Hornbussel, Whitney Pruitt, and Leslie Nevels were all individuals who are employees that participated in these mission teams. So if you're interested or think that you might be, or you want to have that discussion, please contact Kurt or Diana or Kelly, and they can tell you about the mission trips coming about this coming year. In our Wellness Center, for those of you who at one time worked out, and maybe that you're no longer doing that, or for those of you who are working out, we encourage you to participate. Again, this is one of your benefits. The semester operating hours, Monday through Friday, are 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. Take advantage of the treadmills, the weightlifting equipment, the swimming pool, the racquetball courts, the running track. Usually this facility can be a tool to help you reach your maximum capacity and health, and also be an example to others. And a last note too, once again this year, the Lifeway has provided Bibles for our incoming students, and we will be distributing those at Welcome Week check-in on Thursday. Many will already have their Bibles, so they will not take one. So if you're planning a trip, or you have a need to have a certain amount of Bibles, check with us. We have the Holman Standard Bible is available for you. And we'd like to make sure that we're not holding boxes of those in our office, and we can distribute them accordingly. Those are the highlights from student development.
Thank you, Dr. Harris. Let me just say a word about the first 3 weeks of school. Welcome Week is so vitally important. The first couple of weeks weeks of classes are so important. Many students, research indicates to us that many students, within the first 3 weeks, make a decision about where they will continue in college, continue at our university. So the first 3 weeks are so vital, and Welcome Week is such an important activity on our campus. And I just always marvel at what a great job that our students do in administering the Welcome Week program. So thank you for your participation. Just know that participation is very, very important. Dr. Stephanie Miller, discuss retention plans and market research.
Well, this is the last bit on the program, so you can breathe a sigh of relief. And I'm sure many of you that have come to these meetings over the past few years know that you get to hear the millennial speech every year for the past few years since that book was published. Well, I couldn't stand to do it again this year. So you're going to get another little kind of snippet of something different. Pam Ferguson, my administrative assistant, brought in a new book to me a couple of days ago that's called 50 Rules Kids Won't Learn in School. And I'm not going to read all of the 50 things to you, but I have laughed constantly about some of them, and some of them are inappropriate to read to you. Unfortunately, those are the best ones. So just recognize, here are the kids that show up into your classrooms and in your offices. This is what they haven't learned. The real world won't care as much as your school does about your self-esteem. It'll expect you to accomplish something before you feel good about yourself. Very simple, you are not entitled. And some of you may need to really listen hard to this one. No matter what your daddy says, you are not a princess. And I hope that after this next one that several of you will even still speak to me. If you think your teacher is tough, wait until you get a boss. He won't have tenure, so he'll tend to be a little bit edgier. When you mess up, he's not going to ask you how do you feel about it. And I'll probably really be in trouble for this one